Hi, I'm Kyle Jones. My presentation analysis speech that I'll be giving today is presented by John F. Kennedy and his speech, "We Choose to Go to the Moon." In his speech, he talks about all the costs associated with space travel and how difficult it might be to actually send a person into the moon, and all the risks involved being fatal, technical, and then also the risk of not winning the space race, which the Soviets at the time had actually beat us to a little bit to say when they sent a man into orbit. His speech was presented at the Rice Football Stadium in front of thousands of students and just a whole younger generation of kids to kind of better understand and help them understand what the space race is all about and why it's so important. He mentions new technologies and advancements in the United States for exploration, and particularly to go to the moon, and how it would open up doors for security and just all the threats that we don't know about that could possibly be up there if we weren't the first ones to visit the moon, being the United States. He compares the moon exploration to events comparable in history to the Panama Canal, the Manhattan Project, and some of the other biggest things that have happened in our history, just to even try to, I guess, just explain and compare and contrast the differences and similarities and how hard and complicated and risky something like this could actually be. He states in his speech exactly that America needs to be ready for the greatest and most complex exploration in man's history. And I think really what he means by most of that is that it's something that's completely untouched, and we have no history of travel to the moon or in space at all. And it's just a huge step for mankind. A little bit of the background of JFK is he came from a couple wealthy families. He had 9 siblings who all enjoyed swimming and sailing with the influence of their father. Kennedy in school, he was kind of a poor student, except for when it came to something that he really enjoyed studying. So like all the other stuff that he didn't enjoy, he'd rather be on the football field, in the stadium, cheering on his team, partying with girls, you name it, and he was probably out there doing that instead of studying for a history exam or a math test. He graduated Harvard in 1940. At the same time, he published a book actually that sold more than 80,000 copies worldwide. Later in life, he joined the U.S. Navy, and he was on a submarine there in the Navy, which went on to actually get struck by a Japanese warship, leaving him and a lot of men stranded. And most of those men that he was left with were very injured, and Kennedy himself suffered from a very severe back injury. However, he did manage to get all of those people, including himself, to safety, and later was awarded with a Purple Heart for the injuries he suffered and the accomplishments he made during war. I'll next discuss the importance and history of why his speech was influential as it went on to be. The decision to go to the moon would push limits of technology, cost, risk, evaluation, and just confidence in society as a whole, sending one of our own into some uncharted territory. But however, the United States, they did need a time in U.S. history like this to show that we were bigger and better than everyone else and put ourselves above all the competitors in the country and other countries, showing them that we can accomplish more because of our technology, and studies are that much more intense in their the history of the space race. The Soviet Union was the first to send a man to the moon. Not a man to the moon, I'm sorry. They're first people to send a man into space. And the United States really wanted to take it a step further and put someone on the moon before they tried to do that. Next, I will tell you about just how inspiring his speech was to the entire United States as a whole, and mainly the younger generation, as he presented the "We Choose to Go to the Moon" speech in front of the Rice University students. Kennedy, he had a gift for speaking, being highly motivational, influential, and connecting his ideas to society, and giving great examples of just how intense and how thought out this kind of project would have to be successful. I listened to this speech 4 times, and it's 18 minutes long. And every time I did listen to this speech, I got something new out of it. His presentation skills made it very easy to listen to, and every time he finished a sentence, you had to gather new information and almost pause it and think about what he had to say and how it was going to influence people back then in that time. Personally, if I lived back in the time when he gave the speech, I would have taken advantage of maybe a job opportunity or something related to the space travel project, just to feel like I was a part of it, and just seeing how influential JFK was with it. I would have wanted to do something to contribute to his mission. My favorite quote from his speech was, "We set sail on this new sea because there's new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people." And so I find this very influential and one of my favorites, because the knowledge of outer space not only makes the history of the United States, but it also proves power over other countries, that the United States is that much better and can accomplish bigger and better things. And I hope you enjoyed my speech about JFK's speech, "We Choose to Go to the Moon." And I highly encourage you to go listen to it and take your expertise of listening skills and see what you can take from it.